Assalamu alaikum. You are tuned in to the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talks, where we talk about life, love, and business. And today we're talking about business. So whether you're a rapper, singer, or an entrepreneur, you need to know how to write a hook. This technique that was developed by rap artists has become a marketing strategy that even impacts social media algorithms and the power of your pitch. So like and subscribe to the channel. Grab your coffee or tea, and we'll be right back with more on how to write a hook and how hooks, developed by rap artists for the most part or popularized, have impacted the corporate world. We'll be right back. Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings. You're tuned in to the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talks, where we talk about life, love, and business.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee. And he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee. And I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
You belong to yourself. You're an independent people, created from the nation of free people. Yes, sir. You don't need to go nowhere but to yourself. Yes, sir. There will be a great separation. Yes, sir. So I said, it is on now.
The college is meant to prepare you for your future. That the time dictates that if we don't do something for ourselves as a people, we will be destroyed. And the aim of the enemy right now is to take us out.
We have God with us. We have Him as our guide. Yes, sir. We don't have to stand around here and ask the question, what must be done? Yes, sir. Get up and let's go and do something. Yes, sir. We cannot sit down. We cannot lay down. Yes, sir. We must get up. Yes, sir. And go to work.
Do you know what real joy is in life? Visioning something and bringing it into reality. That's real joy. Do you know what the next step in joy is? Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell in unity.
Tonight, you need to fasten your seatbelts. We're going to hear from some of the greatest minds in the world. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of trusting our future and the future of our children into the hands of those who don't love us. I believe we need to revitalize black leadership.
Assalamu alaikum, family. Welcome to the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talk, which y'all sipping on this morning. I made some chai, and I tried a new recipe where I infused it with a little calendula flower tea, which is really good for like inflammation. Sometimes you get congested. I know for me, this time of year, for my sinuses and stuff like that. So thought I'd try that out. Let's see what y'all doing in the chat over here. Okay, I see you, Brother Lamont. Assalamu alaikum. Sister Betty, Mrs. Phoenix, Sister Aletha. All right, y'all. Welcome, welcome. I see some more of y'all here that are shy. I don't want to be in the chat, but that's okay. But I want a little chat participation today. All right, so a couple quick things to tell you all before we get started. With the Sajdah Saturday, or the Sajdah House commemorative Elijah coins, we've got a Messiah sale going on. So if you go to checkout, type in Messiah in the discount code, you get 10% off, okay? And the next 20 people get one of these cute leather embossed journals. A couple of y'all in the chat have already gotten yours, so you get that. But I'm gonna start right in, okay? Make sure you add us to your Roku TV lineup. Go and search Mind of an Entrepreneur and add us to your Roku TV lineup, and make sure you like and subscribe to the page. All right. I know y'all been hearing about this hip hop, or the genre that they call hip hop, turned 50 this year, right? And the industry is now worth an estimated $7.7 billion. That's probably a low number, I'm guessing. And it is estimated that hip hop is the most popular genre of music in the United States, and its global influence cannot be denied. With the continued growth of the industry, it is likely that hip hop will remain a force in the music industry for years to come. So put some claps in the chat for hip hop. But guess what? Hip hop has revolutionized marketing, from endorsements and all the obvious things we see. But throughout the years, you know, the controversy surrounding hip hop music and its culture has been, it's just stayed in the spotlight, right? From back in the day when Tupac was talking about C. Dolores Tucker and all these other rap artists. I mean, it's just stayed in the public spotlight, right? How good it is, how bad it is, from the hype of the East Coast and West Coast rivalry to the critics who are quick to point out the violent and misogynistic lyrics. It continues to be a hot topic that has materially impacted the world. It started off, right, talking about our culture and urban life and had more consciousness to it. And now that it's become more corporate, it's become a little more raunchy, or a lot more raunchy on a consistent basis. But the one thing that stays consistent is the fact that every good rap song needs a good hook. And it's gotten to the point now where hip hop has swallowed up R&B music, you know, ever since Bobby Brown, who kind of merged that hip hop and R&B vibe. Um, the genres have merged. You kind of don't hear that much about hip hop anymore. We had a neo soul movement for a while, but um, it's changed the entire industry. But do y'all know what a hook is? Let me know in the chat if you know what a hook is. See, in R&B music, it is most often called a chorus. So if you took music, there's the chorus, right? And the term hook really goes back to the earliest days of songwriting. But it really refers to the part of the song intended to hook the listener. Okay, that's actually a hip hop phrase. They're trying to own it and take it and make it a marketing or a music phrase, but calling that that chorus or that catchy part of the catchy repetitive part of the song, changing it from chorus to hook is a hip hop thing. It's like a catchy combination of the melody, the lyrics, the rhythm that kind of stays in your head, right? Something that songwriters from the dawn of time have always wanted to achieve. So I don't think it was invented by hip hop, but it was definitely popularized, and the importance of it and the use of it as a marketing tool was definitely popularized by hip hop. Okay, but it really didn't become a staple in marketing and business until hip hop began to influence our everyday lives. How many of y'all remember back in the day when Oprah was kind of down on hip hop, right? And in 1988, she was among a lot of people who doubted the staying power of rap music. Like they thought that it would just die out. It was just a fad for teenagers and that it wouldn't come back. But she mentioned in one of her shows that until she saw this commercial, she was a doubter. But she knew that hip hop was here to stay when she saw this commercial. Check this commercial out. I really want y'all to check this out. Let's see. Here we go. Let me see if I got it together here. I got it. Uh-oh.
Hello.
No, that's not it. Okay. It was the Pillsbury Doughboy commercial. Actually, let me find it because you guys got to see this. Let me get it because this is so important. There it is. I got it now. How many people remember the Pillsbury Doughboy commercial? Okay, let's go and get it here. All right, check this out. So it wasn't until our beloved sister, Oprah Winfrey, said that she saw this commercial that made her understand not only the influence of hip hop, but the staying power of rap music as a genre.
It's me. Here's a wrap that you should know, made with Pillsbury crescent rolls. Just wrap a wiener filled with cheese. Take it up. It's sure to please. The Doughboy wrap. Woo-hoo! It's me.
I'm a plan.
Here's a wrap that you should know, made with Pillsbury crescent rolls. Just wrap a wiener filled with cheese. Take it up. It's sure to please. The Doughboy wrap. Woo-hoo!
That is so freaking corny. It's so corny. Especially to us nowadays, right? But can you believe that in 1988, that commercial was almost revolutionary? Like people were tripping off of the Pillsbury Doughboy rapping. Can you believe that? To the point where Oprah had to come out and say, oh, I think rap music has staying power. Well, guess what? You damn Skippy. Unfortunately, we don't own it anymore. That's how powerful it is. It's just corny, right? But it was really offensive back then. But advertising, marketing, and even corporate strategists are using a technique popularized by a genre of music that was once a way for youth in our urban communities to poetically express the mystery of urban life, right? Because there was no internet, there was no way of really people knowing like what's really happening in the hood, because nobody cared about it. You got to remember, we were redlined. We were moved into during the Great Migration. We were forced to only live within that red line on the map, those small areas. As those areas began to become overcrowded, they brought in housing projects, start stacking us on top of each other. Even in the midst of all of that racism and the lack of safety, once they then started introducing drugs, heroin, crack, but there were cultures that were popping up, and nobody really, mainstream America really didn't know anything about what was happening in these neighborhoods, these red line neighborhoods, from the police brutality, the drug culture, the music. We had Soul Train, right, that was bringing us dances and stuff from the hood. But once Soul Train moved to LA, it kind of got a little commercial, right? And so we still never really had anything mainstream that was fed or that was feeding the public an urban lifestyle. So rap music was that. And it was largely popularized by its infectious beats and unforgettable hooks, right? So when an artist goes into the studio, generally the first thing that is created is the hook. Most of us know the hook to a song, and as long as it has a dope beat, we rarely even pay attention to anything else. Anything else. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? I'm gonna play a few hooks here. This is not my music. I don't have the rights to it. But I just want you to hear these hooks so you can kind of visualize and emotionalize and audio attune yourself to what I'm talking about when I'm talking about that hook, the power of a hook. And then you'll understand as we begin to transition this over to use in our business what I mean. So let's have some fun. Check this out.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this. When the pimp's in the crib, ma, drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Why me crack it? Why me roll? Why me crack that soldier boy? That Superman? I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I am for real. Stop. Stop. Shut him down. Open up shop.
Okay. Y'all remember any of those hooks? I just had to do that way because I don't want them to trip out and like, oh, you're using somebody's music. They still may get mad. But let me know in the chat what your favorite rap song is and type the hook, or one of your favorite songs, and type the hook in the chat. That's how powerful. You probably don't know no other verses. You don't know the first verse, the second verse. Sometimes you don't even know who's rapping on the song. You just know the hook. And I just played for you a few popular hooks. And I mean, there's so many songs. As soon as you hear the first word of it, you know exactly what the song is. And don't y'all act all holy roller like y'all don't be listening to music. And listen, we're not going to do that on the Mind of an Entrepreneur show, okay? Y'all like music. You know music. Even if it's lame, like, I don't want no scrubs. It could be anything, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Type that in the hook. Somebody, Brother Lamont said, Fight the Power. Somebody else give me another one. Fight the Power had a good hook, and you remembered that too. Look, Fight the Power was probably one of the reasons why the corporate world said, let's take over this genre, because if people are walking around, because one thing about a hook, it'll stay in your head all day. You could be in the middle of working or doing anything, and all of a sudden, Fight the Power will come into your head because you heard that song earlier that day, or maybe even that morning, or on the way to work. So imagine if hooks were really powerful, what that would do to your subconscious mind. See, people ain't crazy. They know that these hooks are driving people to do certain things. So anyway, I see ain't nobody else got no other hooks. Thank you, Brother Lamont, for that. Anyway, so now the hook, like I said, has crept over into corporate America. Now advertisers have been using hooks or advertising themes for a while, but hooks are now so popular that even your business must have a hook. It's almost become like, if you don't have a hook for your business, and if you have product launches and things that you're doing and you don't create a hook, people won't even listen to you. Whether you're pitching to an investment group, or you're on Shark Tank, or your business got to have a hook. There are even classes now, books and training programs around how to create a good hook. And if your hook ain't hot, you likely won't even hold the attention of your investors or your potential customers, just like your favorite rap song. It really doesn't matter how good the rapper can flow. If the hook is whack, then the song won't sell. Sister Letha said it's a good day. Then she said, I get around. Yeah, that's right. Those are good songs. And you remember the hook. See, in the world we live in today, where if you don't catch a person's attention in 3 seconds, you will likely not influence the social media algorithms to keep sending out your content. Because see, a lot of people don't understand how this works. What they may decide to do, there's a number attached to how many people they send your content out to. So let's say you have something, you post a video, and they send it out to the first 500 people. And you only get 10 people who engage with it or even listen beyond 3 seconds, then they don't send it out anymore. So that's why a lot of times you can have something that you may post and it might only get 5 likes, but somebody else may post it and it may get 1,500 likes. So they play with that algorithm, even when they shadow ban people like us, who follow the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, or we talk about finances and money. We'll oftentimes get shadow banned, but they do that with the numerical coding in the algorithm, right? So let's say you're not shadow banned. If you're shadow banned, they may make that number really high. They may say, if we send this out to 1,000 people, whereas the person who's not shadow banned, if they get 50 likes, they'll send it out to another 1,000 and another 1,000. Whereas when you're shadow banned, they may say, if we send this out to 1,000 people and she only gets 10 likes, and they may send it to 1,000 people that don't know you or may not be interested, then they won't continue to send it out. Or they'll say, we're only going to send this out to a certain number of people. So it's the numbers that they play around with. That's why we always tell you to like and subscribe to the page, and to repost, and to go in and follow, kind of like doing it manually and kind of tripping up the algorithm. That's why a lot of times when you all come to Sajdah House, I'll tell y'all, go live, because we want more people, right, to see it, because we know if it's just coming from that one source that we can get shadow banned, whether it's because they don't like us and don't like what we're doing, or because so many people like what we're doing, but we are not in bed with advertisers. It could be a number of different things, okay? Oftentimes, things that are raunchy, like people take off their clothes, or they're doing something sexual, or they're cursing, or something like that. It's kind of like Denzel Washington having a lifelong body of magnificent work and then getting the Oscar or the Academy Award for playing a crooked cop, right? That's just an idea for you guys to get what I'm saying. All right. So you won't affect the algorithms. Okay. You have to catch people's attention in 3 seconds. And if you're in front of someone and you want them to pay attention to your pitch, and I don't mean this in an over theatrical kind of way. I have one-on-one conversations with people all the time about my businesses. And each one of my businesses, I have an elevator pitch, which is just a quick, short, 10, 15-second thing where I can summarize my business. But then I also have a hook so that I can lead with that hook, even if I'm just talking in conversation. Okay. So if you're in front of someone and you want them to pay attention to you, you don't got to start dancing and singing the hook. But you kind of got to say that hook in your head. Excuse me, my throat is scratchy this morning. So even when I do speaking engagements, I have a couple things coming up, and depending on the audience, I've already written the hook. Right? I've already written the hook in my head. So now I just have to write the rest of the speech. But you better start with a good hook, or else they'll likely start yawning a few minutes into your presentation. A good hook, let me tell you something, will get you some checks. And it's all in the delivery. Now, the hook is different from your mission statement. See, a mission statement is like a short statement of why your organization exists, what its overall goal is, the goal of your operations, what kind of product or service you provide, your primary customers or your market, your geographical region, or your where you operate. But the hook and creating the hook is really important, right? Because what it will do, it forces you to mine out of yourself, especially if it's a business that you started, what your focus is. And in so many cases where people like myself, my business is myself, right? I get paid for being me and doing what I do. And so in that case, I have to learn how to package me up. And it's really a way of reducing yourself into bite-sized chunks. And so I'm really methodical and surgical about studying myself and reinventing myself, creating new hooks. So I literally have tons of hooks related to me and who and what I do in different aspects of how Allah shows up in me, which people may call skills and talents. Okay. Y'all all right? Okay. I guess y'all okay. Anyway, so a marketing hook takes the form really of like a tagline. It's a catchy phrase. And it works like a hook snagging a customer's attention, right? There's a company called Marketing 360 that says that effective hooks entice customers to take the next step. The catchy hook catches a person because we're bombarded with all of this information all day long. Things are constantly coming in front of us over and over and over. And so when we hear a good hook, we stop. Or if we hear a hook over and over again, we remember it. Okay. Now, a marketing hook does not represent your business's entire offering. It's a tease, a sample, like a mental appetizer. Okay. It conveys information about your company, your product or services, or it may underscore your most positive traits. Okay. And a lot of times it's paired with music or a jingle on radio or TV. And so the hook and the jingle create a brand awareness that a small business could benefit from years to come. But it shouldn't be long, shouldn't be windy, it should be short, snappy, and it's really good because today people are just really bombarded. But when I'm talking about your hook that you use in your pitch, or your hook that you use just really in conversation with people, Like people would say, oh, well, what does the mind of an entrepreneur do? I said, well, our goal is to give people mental strategies to help them become happier, healthier, wealthier, and experience more love. Real quick, I'm not singing it, I'm not dancing it, but there's some corporate, let me give you some examples, and you can type some in the chat if you think of some. Think of some corporate hooks that have a catchy tune that you remember, right? Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, right? Or Nationwide is on your side. McDonald's had a little phrase that just would say, I'm loving it, right? There was that other one, what would you do for a Klondike bar? You know that, right? You remember that. Ace is the place for the helpful hardware man, something like that, right? Type a hook, a music hook in the chat, or a corporate hook in the chat, if you can think of one. But I just gave you a few examples. Those are jingles, if you will. Now, like I said, your hook does not have to have a jingle. So think about Nike, where they say, just do it. That's their hook, just do it. Or KFC, it's finger licking good. I think Apple's is think different. So those are ones that don't have like a jingle to it. So you can create that hook. Mine didn't have a jingle to it. And I have others that I use and say, when people say, well, what is your authenticity training? Well, it's a way to help you own and monetize your authentic self. So that's that phrase. It's just a hook. And if we wanted to, we could turn that into a song, right? Why do you know all these hooks that like the ones I just said? Why can I just kind of run them off the top of my head? There's more coming to me as we're talking. I'll spare y'all. Well, one, because these brands spend thousands of dollars trying to influence you. They want your money. But also these hooks are important for a number of reasons. And this is what I want you to think about. We're being silly. We're having a good time. We're talking about these different hooks and stuff. But why are they effective? Why is the Ace Hardware or the State Farm one, why are they effective? Because number one, they grab your attention, right? They draw your target customers in with a hook that stands out. Let me also say this. Many of you probably have noticed how most of the time people have these jingles, and when they add music to their ads on television, they're using hip hop. And see, during the period of the Great Migration, okay, this is why the Great Migration is such an important study. During the period of the Great Migration, immigrants migrated to the United States. The white evangelical world was discriminatory even against other people who they later incorporated into the white race to increase their numbers, but they were discriminatory against those people. So a lot of those people came to the Black neighborhood and got very, very wealthy. Whether they open liquor stores, you got liquor stores on every corner, whether it's nail shops, we talked about this before, whether it's Chinese restaurants, whatever kind of restaurants, whatever it is, these people came. They owned the grocery stores. They came into the Black red line neighborhoods and opened businesses at a time when we were not opening businesses, because see, they had us focused on supporting the Industrial Revolution. So we were so happy to have an opportunity to exchange our labor for an hourly wage, because we didn't come from slavery to sharecropping. When we got up north, they said, well, you can work and we'll give you an hourly wage. That sounded like a really big thing to us, or it was, because we would work from KC morning to KC night and not get nothing, or we'd work during sharecropping days and have to pay the lion's share of what we earn to the sharecropper. So when we moved up north, they said, don't worry, we will give you an hourly wage in exchange for an hour of labor. Okay. And we was excited. So we were so focused on that. Then they started doing things like giving us benefits and making it prestigious to work at these companies. And so in our generation, our parents were so focused on that many of us became latchkey kids, which is again how they was able to get us hooked on crack. Because a lot of us were at home by ourselves because our parents was working in exchange for that hourly wage. And it became so prestigious to have that prestigious job that they neglected their children. And it became a must. And so in the meanwhile, while we're over here supporting the Industrial Revolution, the other immigrant communities are in our neighborhoods providing us with goods and services and becoming very, very, very wealthy. Now, what's happening now? Now through gentrification, not only is a lot of our urban history becoming extinct because the real estate is being torn down. In most communities, the interstates and highways went right through the Black communities, really disseminating all of that history because we didn't write it down. We was too busy at work. What has happened now, then a lot of those companies have gone online. They haven't stopped marketing to us. They haven't stopped controlling the dispensement of goods and services into our communities. They're just doing it on television now. They're just doing it online. So how do they hook the biggest consumers in the world? Number one, they make us think we ain't got no money, we poor, we broke, we shouldn't unite. We can't even think about uniting because they tell us we can't. They got us so jealous and competitive because we're so busy trying to compete for their attention that we don't like each other. And now we've become the brainwashers. We go out into our community and we take this colonizing mindset right with us, create businesses, create business models as if we're really just dark-skinned white people, but we're perpetuating a mindset that controlled and enslaved us and made a bunch of other people rich on top of us. Now what's happening? Well, they haven't stopped with introducing those goods and services into our community. They're doing it in radio, on television, and online. And they're using our music to get our attention. They're using our dances, our hip hop urban dances, to get our attention. And a lot of times the videos that go viral on social media are the ones where you got somebody who is non-Black singing or dancing like a Black person. What do I mean by like a Black person? Using the dance techniques and the singing techniques and the rap techniques that were invented in our urban communities. Those are the videos that go viral, and that's how they get our attention, right? So when you hear these hooks and when you create these hooks for your brand, make sure that they grab somebody's attention. Make sure they draw the target customer in. Okay. Make sure it kind of has a value proposition. People can think about a value of it. Like I said, giving mental strategies, to members of marginalized communities to help them become happier, healthier, wealthier, and experience more love. Well, who don't want to be happier, healthier, wealthier, and experience more love? So I'm communicating the value and the key benefits in an effort to persuade people to pay attention. So it's a value proposition. It's attention grabbing, because people start thinking, I didn't realize I needed mental strategies, but you know what? I do. Why do you? Because most of us have been trained, right, in the industrial revolutionary environment. Remember, these companies that ran the industrial revolution also underwrote the school systems. Y'all didn't know that, right? So I would talk about that at a later date, but really what happened was all of us went to school, and our school and our education was designed right? So that we could go and get a good job. And in cities where you had strong industry, like Detroit and Gary and Cleveland, where you had strong, like automotive places where you could go straight from high school to the factory and make a good living, that's what you were trained to do. When the Industrial Revolution kind of died down and America started to really shift all of its manufacturing and everything, at the point now in the US, we don't really make anything. We don't really own a lot of industry. Most things we buy from someone else. They took that stuff out of the school system. So the shop class and all of that, that's out. So the school system has always had an agenda. And the industrial complex and the industrial revolutionary leaders no longer own or control the school system. Okay, so you want that hook to be attention grabbing. You want it to have a value proposition. You want it to have brand recognition. You want people to associate it with your brand and make it memorable to create a strong brand. So the brands that I create, I talked about how Sajdah House during Savior's Day, we had such an overwhelmingly successful response to that soft opening of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House that we were certain that the brand is recognized and it's strong. Obviously, the brand is on the back of the Messenger of Allah, but there's a lot of people promoting that same concept. But what we realized was that concept of he lives in his home is something that people want to see, people are interested in, and they are attracted to. When you hear somebody talk about the mind of an entrepreneur, mental strategies, most people think about me, right? And they say, okay, Sister Sajdah really wants us to become entrepreneurs. Why? Because she wants us to be happier, healthier, wealthier, and experience more love. A lot of you think about that, especially those of you who follow me from my radio days. You also want to make sure that that hook engages your customer. Okay, you want to engage that customer on an emotional level and build an even deeper connection with that person. Okay, so remember, a marketing hook is a message or tagline that attracts customers' attention and persuades them to take action. Effective marketing hooks entice customers to take that next step, such as making a purchase or signing up for a service. Like and subscribe to this page. A hook is not the whole offering. It's a tease. It's a sample. It's a mental appetizer. Okay. Let's see how y'all doing in the chat. Thank you for joining us, Sister Sandra. She said, oh, she gave us a good one. She said, the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. That's so apropos for the Sajdah Saturday morning coffee talk. Let me know in the chat how y'all doing. We wrapping up. Okay. So your brand, let me just get into your brand. I want you to take that concept of the corporate jingle, the rap song with the good hook. No matter how good the rapper is, if the hook is whack, you probably won't even pay attention. There was a point in the 90s where we would put a song together and make the hook first. Some people structure the song where the song comes on and somebody raps for 16 bars and then maybe somebody else for another 16 bars and then the hook and then a couple more bars and then the hook again. There's also when people mix a song, they will put the hook first. So the first thing you hear on the radio is the hook. And then, or they make sure the hook comes in relatively early in the song without a whole lot of rapping. So if you write a rap song, for example, and you rap for 32 bars and then your hook comes in, a lot of times the producer will rearrange it. They'll either move your hook up in the song or make it the first thing in the song. Because what they want, especially if it's a good hook, is for it to hook the people to take action. Download the song, start dancing, whatever. Okay, whatever the message is. Public Enemy was fight the power. That was the action they wanted us to take. the Folgers in your cup is because they wanted you to get you a cup and put some Folgers in it. And they played that over and over again. And they had these really emotional and endearing commercials where they played that hook. And so you tied the visual emotional, the vision of the emotional interaction to the audio, which was the hook. Okay. So your brand, it doesn't have to have a jingle. It's okay if you have a jingle, it's good, but you need to have something that you can say and you can spit it like game when you're having that conversation with somebody about what it is that you do and how you do it and how you pull it together. So if you don't have a rapper in your family, here are some things you should consider when you're developing your brand and your hook. Okay. So you want to identify your unique selling proposition. Okay. I spend a lot of time teasing out of myself what is unique to me. So when you come to me for coaching, when you hire me to help you build your business, when you engage with my brand, you are engaging in what is uniquely Sajdah Wendy Muhammad, what is uniquely me. Okay. And there's a lot of, and what I did was created products around my primary skill sets, and they all kind of merge together at some point. So you want to identify your unique selling proposition. When I coach people on authenticity, that's one of the things I help you do is tease out your authentic self. What is it about you that makes you you? Because it's your story, that's your currency. Nobody else can own your story, and you should protect and fight your story for your story, just like you protect and fight to keep your money or your children or whatever else is important to you. But your story and your authenticity is very, very important. Oftentimes I fight for other people to own their story when they don't even really understand how important it is. But your story is very important. That's why it's so blasphemous to me when people work with you and they try to steal what you do. We do that a lot, especially in the Black community, but really in general. We do it a lot. I remember working with somebody, a coach, and we were doing these coaching series, and I was doing my authenticity coaching, which was a combination, which is a combination of my spirituality, the wisdom that was imparted on me by my mother, my grandmother, my father, people growing up, right? And some of the things that I learned as I started to discover my authentic self and navigate through the world. And there were things that my mother had said that I made like as key points, things my grandmother said I made as key points in my presentation. And this woman took and stole them. And I'm looking at her like, and they weren't general, I'm not talking about general Southern slangs like money don't grow on trees. So it was stuff that I had fused with my spirituality, and she took it and said, "Oh yeah, I'm certified in authenticity coaching." I just feel like that's so blasphemous, because that means that you're not paying attention to your story. You're so focused on what my story is that you want to steal my story. That means you got a problem with who put the skills inside of me and deposited themselves in me that makes me uniquely me. And I have to say to you, you want to use your unique selling proposition to create your brand, because what's for you is for you. What's for me is for me. What's for her is for her. What's for him is for him. And there ain't nothing that none of us can do about it. Next thing you want to do is make sure you define and determine your target audience. A lot of people say things like, well, I don't want to be just a Black this or that. Or a lot of people, it's interesting because, and I see this a lot with Black people and with a lot of Black Muslims who are in business. They say, well, I don't want to just market to the Muslims. I don't want to just market to Black people. And so we tend to focus outside of ourselves to try to grab customers or kowtow to customers that we don't even have, or that we likely are not going to get. Remember, if you're saying I don't want to just market to Black people or just market to Muslims because you want to be a more expansive brand, you know how to gain more customers outside of if you're Black or outside if you're a Black Muslim is to have the respect inside of that community to the extent that you can. You got to play with inside, outside experience and respect. Because sometimes if you go to school and you can gain a certain amount of respect in the corporate world, you come back to your community. Sometimes that works where they'll respect you. And sometimes it works where when you gain respect within your community and then you go outside and they say, oh, this person respects, I can respect that person. That was really popular in the 2000s where you kind of had to dance that line. But let me tell you what's happening now. Because the Black community has become such heavy consumers and big spenders, that what that white company wants to see is they want to see if you could give them an in into a community that they're not a part of. That's what's important to them. And so when you come and you say, look, I've got influence in this particular community, in this particular race, in this particular religion. I'm accessible to these new emerging market leaders. I can get you to customers that you normally would never be able to touch. That's a value add. Okay. So you got to determine your target audience and your intention. And then you start developing a list of potential hooks. You may develop one, and that may involve 20 hooks later into the one that it finally is. And then you want to test it, right? And then when you test it, you refine it. Test it by seeing if it rolls off your tongue. Sometimes you think things in your mind and then you go to say it and you're like, ooh, that's a little wordy, or it just doesn't resonate. So you test it and you refine it and you keep inventing and reinventing. And as you grow and develop, guess what? Your hooks and the things that you use to attract people to you are going to grow and develop. And then you want to just start using them across your marketing channels. And the goal, again, is to attract customers, generate interest in your product or service, and to be effective, your hook should be memorable. It should be relevant to your target audience, and it should really be persuasive. Yeah. So I hope that helps you in a couple of ways. I want you to really understand and see value in yourselves, in ourselves. We shouldn't have to look a certain way in order for us to see value in ourselves. See, those little brothers that y'all seeing, that y'all looking at like, I ain't about that rap music. I ain't about no hip hop. I ain't about all of that. Those brothers are generating in who they are. They really are very messianic in that they are really, really, really generating billions of dollars through their techniques, through what it is that they do. There's value in us. We are the prize. We are the jewels. And so don't discount what you see in the hood, if you will. Don't discount what you see in one another and think that there's no value there, because when I tell you that the rest of the world, especially here in the United States, they make most of their money off of Black people, people who look like me and you, whether they come into our neighborhood and do business, whether they prey upon us with predatory lending and collection practices, whether they serve us bad food into our communities, whatever it is that they do, it's all about monetizing their predatory position on our community. And what do I mean? A lot of people do it innocently because it's just become the norm. It's just become what is done. These people are big consumers, so you make money off of them. They eat collard greens, so you sell collard greens. Don't matter if collard greens is good for you or not. They eat pork, so you sell them pork. Doesn't matter if pork is good for you or not. They're just making sure that they can continue to generate a stream of income off of you and I. That's That is the root of capitalism here in America. It's on the backs of Black people. It was during slavery with free labor. It was during Jim Crow. It was during the Industrial Revolution. And it is now. It's all about control and monetization. And so, and they do it with the hooks, with the music, because we like it. So I just want us to think about that. I'm really trying to get us to see how much power we have, and how, and not only just us, but people outside of us, to understand that we are truly emerging new market leaders, industry disruptors that you should invest in and with. We will give you access to a new way of thinking, a new way of being, and new customers that you can't get. And so you should invest in us. We are valuable. We are worth it. We are worthy. See, because in a day and time when everybody's becoming hyper influenced by pop culture, I find it so interesting that even when you go in the store and look at clothes, unless you find a boutique that's got some really cool, unique things that you can kind of put together to create your own style, everything just kind of looks the same. Everybody buys the same stuff. Whatever they show us on social media, I see grown, professional, corporate women who, when they dress up to go to a party or something, they dress like strippers, because that stylized culture has become popular to us. We don't know how to leave that over there. Oh, that's how they dress. That's how this person dress. We got to incorporate that into who we are. It's just sad. And so I think what's important is that we begin to understand that it's time for us to own and monetize our own stories, our own history, and who we are. There's so much value there. All right, family. So with that, you see scrolling across the bottom, we're having a Messiah sale on sajdahhouse.com. If you purchase your commemorative coin, or one of these cool He Lives berets, or anything else that's out there, if you use the discount code Messiah, MESSIAH, you get 10% off. I don't know how long I'm going to let the discount ride, but I just been in such a celebratory, zen-like celebratory mood that I just wanted to celebrate with you all and offer that discount code. All right. Remember, the goal here of my channel is to help you to become happier, healthier, wealthier, and experience more love by helping you do for self, by helping you gain access to mental strategies that will help you navigate through the world of business. So this is all designed to help, support. And at the end of the day, I've been very, very blessed. Allah has deposited so much of himself in me that I want to help ignite all the stuff that he's deposited in you. And I have a very colorful career, and I've bought and paid for a lot of experience and a lot of stuff, right? With my blood, sweat, and tears. And I'm going to give it to you for free. So it's free game to help you navigate the world of business. All right. Like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you go out there on Roku and add us to your Roku TV lineup. Just type in Mind of an Entrepreneur and add us and watch us on Roku, right? Like and subscribe. We're trying to get our likes and subscribes up. And I have to manually ask you guys to do this because the algorithms are set for shadow banning because of the stuff we talk about. Because the stuff that we talk about is really, really designed to help you become independent, become what? Happier, healthier, wealthier, and experience more love. All right. So thank you, Sister Sandra. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sister Aletha. We got some sisters in the chat. Thank you, Marvelous Marva. Thank you, Brother Lamont. Let's see who else we got here. Thank you, Mrs. Phoenix. Thank you, Sister Betty. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you. So don't just click off when I go away. I want y'all to look at my commercials and stuff. Okay. All right. And if you want to donate to keep this brand going and just support, you can Cash App us at $Mo today. Somebody type that in the chat for me. Cash App donations to $MoETODAY. All right. Peace and blessings.
I can't keep it to myself. My heart will bust with all of this in it. I can't keep it to myself. I must tell it. Yes, sir. Even if God has forbidden me to tell it, I can't help it. By nature, I will be whispering.
Greetings, conscious entrepreneurs. Add the Mind of an Entrepreneur show to your Roku TV lineup and catch up on past episodes of all your favorite Mo Today shows.